So welcome everyone. It's Kids in the Kitchen time. We're going to have fun. We're going to cook. We're going to talk. We're going to love kids, love life together. So it's a real joy and a pleasure to introduce Lauren Bryson. And I don't remember Kat's last name. I could guess at it, but I'll let you two introduce yourself. They're together up here in Petaluma. So please take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Bryson. I'm board certified in holistic nutrition and a health coach, and also a kids cooking instructor. I've been teaching kids cooking for over 3 years now, and I really believe deeply in the power of education, especially at a young age. I am based up in Sonoma County, and I got into the world of holistic health due to my own personal health crisis. I was living and working in San Francisco and was struggling with a lot of gut-related issues, in and out of doctors' offices and hospitals for the majority of my 20s. And when I started changing my diet and eating more nutrient-dense foods, focusing on healing my gut, I started to feel better. So this is my second career. I'm a graduate of Bauman College, and I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I really love it. I specialize in gut health. And also, as I said, I teach kids cooking, and that's where I met Kat. Take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kat Elumba. I have been in the wellness industry for the last 16 years. I actually have a bachelor's degree in kinesiology, but I decided to use that and foster that into massage therapy. So I was a practitioner for the last 15 years. I too am a graduate of Bauman College. I've been doing this for almost about the same time as Lauren. She probably graduated maybe half a semester sooner than me. But we met initially through a virtual connection on our nonprofit kids cooking organization that we work for, is Kids Cooking for Life. So I too am a health coach as well, but I also have created a bone broth product. So we actually together host resets, seasonal resets together, as well as we've worked together with Kids Cooking for Life. So really excited to be here. I typically host classes for fourth graders with the organization. So I see about 90 kids every Tuesday during the school year. So I think this recipe is really great. I'm glad that you guys are here because I feel like we can probably use this in class. So this is good.
Absolutely. Yeah. So today we're making a Pad Thai Zoodle recipe. Has anyone made zoodles before? I'm going to do gallery view.
Well, we started some zoodling the other night. We were making a soup.
Oh, good.
And instead of, starch noodles, we use zucchini noodles. Yeah.
Right. Amazing. Has
anyone
cooked with zoodles before? First time zoodlers?
What is a zoodle? What is a zoodle?
I see, Natalie, you guys make zoodles. What kind of zoodles do you guys make? Well, you're muted, I think.
We've just added pesto to them, or just sauteed it with olive oil.
Yes.
Perfect.
That tastes so good.
So good. So zoodles are basically vegetable noodles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So instead of using a wheat noodle or any type of flour noodle, you use vegetables. So you can use zucchini, you can use carrots, you can use other types of squash to make noodles. Obviously, it's going to be more nutrient dense. It's a really great swap for the kiddos. Kat and I really believe in just making healthier versions of like all-time classics. So at Kids Cooking for Life, where we teach kids cooking classes, we have like a rainbow mac and cheese recipe where it's macaroni and cheese with a homemade cheese sauce, but we add in a little bit of broccoli, a little bit of tomatoes, a little bit of spinach. We have a seasonal fresh fruit crepe recipe. So it's a healthier version on the all-time classics that the kiddos love. And we find that that's kind of the secret sauce when doing kids cooking, don't you think?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, they're already familiar with the recipe, so you're kind of just adding more nutrient-dense products or nutrient ingredients to it. So almost like you're hiding it.
Yeah.
While they're accumulating or, kind of acclimating to the palate of things, because they're very picky.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, we always like the healthier swaps, but also just exposing the kiddos to cooking. Getting them in the kitchen, giving them different responsibilities, teach them different knife skills. We'll talk a little bit more about different ways to involve kiddos in the kitchen while we're cooking.
Right.
But we really believe in just exposure and education is really kind of the key to empowerment with getting kids involved in the cooking process. And they won't always like the outcome, and that's okay.
That's fine.
You know what I mean?
Like, we're also trying to get them to learn how to express how ingredients taste versus and understanding their own palate. Like, it's too sour, but why? Or why is this vegetable more sour? What does that mean? What does that do for our body? So we also are letting education surrounded that behind taste. Right? Like, why are we using vinegar in here? And why are we using salt? Why does our body actually need salt? So it really lends a platform for us to be able to teach kids, even at home. I have a funny story, like when Devin was 3, so my son is 16, because I was still already in the wellness industry. Of course, I did my own research and I'm reading, but I was giving Devin smoothies as early as like 2 or 3. But back then it was around, but you know, none of my friends and family taught me how to do that. But Devin had his little green smoothie, by the way, put a little green in his sippy cup. I'm like, just drink this. Oh, he would throw it back at me. Like, literally, I would get sippy cup, smoothie in the face. But I have to say, because we started early at 3, as he is an athlete now in high school, he knows how to make those choices on his own. So I said, what are you eating for dinner today? What are you eating for breakfast? And he's making his own eggs, and he's having fruit, and he's like, oh, I don't eat that. That has too much sugar in it. He actually can tell just because of being able to show him real whole ingredients early on. And it was an uphill battle. Like, this is how it is with Lauren and I teach our kids.
Yeah.
Same. It's an uphill battle. We get a lot of resistance, but if we're showing them early, we are hoping to curb like some of the stats that exist today, right, Lauren?
Absolutely. Yeah. So 1 in 4 adolescents has a chronic illness, whether it be diabetes, asthma, obesity. This was a statistic. I have a hard time saying that word. This was a statistic from the CDC that came out in 2019. So 25% of our kiddos have a chronic illness.
Right.
And a big contributor of chronic illness is diet and lifestyle. So that's why Kat and I feel super passionate about teaching kiddos how to cook, involving them in the cooking process, learning about ways to eat more nutrient dense food, but also food that tastes good. You know, like, food's meant to be enjoyed.
Yes.
Food is a like community and connection piece. It's supposed to be pleasurable. So we don't want to we're not the ones that are going to make the food be healthy and non-flavorful. Like, we want to make the food be enjoyable, because when you're enjoying your food on a physiological level, you're going to be digesting it better, because you're going to be in your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest nervous system state. If you're stressed out and not liking your food, your cortisol is going to be jacked up and you're not going to digest properly. So what are we making today?
We're making Pad Thai Zoodles.
Pad Thai Zoodles.
Right.
We want to ask a question though. What does everyone feed their family? Pop it in the chat. What do you guys feed your family? Or feed yourself? Right. What do your kiddos like to eat? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for my apron. What do your kiddos like to eat? Let's see. Kiddos or adults?
We see
tacos with grass-fed beef. Amazing. Yeah. Tacos are the best. Tacos are so simple, and you can really, really add in some really healthy foods. Awesome. Ethnic foods, rice and beans, buffalo chicken shredded, mac and cheese. Yeah, we have a really good rainbow mac and cheese recipe. It's an all-time classic.
So easy too.
Let's see. Yes. Oh, hi, Danusha. Nice to see you.
Thank you for that tip.
Yeah. Super, super important. Cool. So if you guys want to keep throwing in things that you feed your family, please do it. I think we're going to start cooking.
This is super easy.
We're going to start cooking. Yeah. So I'm going to put the recipe in the chat. You guys, we made a little PDF for you. Share it, use it, share it with anyone else.
I think the cool part about using healthy alternatives in kind of traditional recipes is that actually you can almost put kitchen sink in here. So we
totally, this isn't anything recipe. You can really we always encourage people to take a recipe and modify it based on either dietary restrictions or taste, what foods taste, or what foods you literally have in the fridge. Also, seasonal eating is really important. So eating seasonally. So we're at the tail end of zucchini season. So we're doing zucchini zoodles, but in the fall and winter, you could do different types of squash
Squashes,
or
yeah.
carrots.
Totally.
Like, so just whenever there's a recipe, I always encourage people to get creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
Base sauce can exist, but you guys can basically throw everything in. We're like, should we put mushrooms in here? I don't know.
Mhm.
Whatever you have, please utilize it.
Yes. So
What do you want to start?
we are doing Pad Thai Zoodles. In our Pad Thai Zoodles, we have honey. The original recipe called for sugar, but we're swapping in honey.
Yeah.
So we have honey, lime, vinegar. It could be any type of vinegar. I have apple cider at home. You can use rice wine.
White
You
vinegar.
can use 2 tablespoons of fish sauce or soy sauce. And if you're gluten-free, tamari sauce is going to be a great swap. Jalapeno.
I wanted to show you guys this
Let's see.
healthier fish sauce because I'm Asian. I'm Filipino actually. So a lot of the shrimp paste and the shrimp sauces are processed, refined when I go into an Asian grocery store, and I can tell the difference. So this one's actually just made from anchovies and sea salt, and it's pressed with water. So it's red boat fish sauce. You guys can
Yeah.
find it out there. And you don't need a lot of fish sauce because it is concentrated. You actually don't need to use a lot in any recipe, and you can cut it down if you have issues with that.
Mhm.
But if you guys don't have fish sauce for today, you guys can use tamari or a soy sauce of your choice.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And then jalapeno, optional. Optional, depends on if the kiddos like jalapeno or not. Avocado oil for cooking. We are using shrimp. I literally had shrimp in my fridge, so we're gonna add in some shrimp.
Mhm.
2 large zucchini, 1 carrot, ginger, garlic, eggs, green onion. And then usually Pad Thai has peanuts, but I know there's a lot of peanut allergies out there. So a good swap for peanuts is going to be sunflower seeds. So we're using both
Yeah, we have a mix.
peanuts and sunflower seeds, but we wanted to be mindful of peanut allergies. So those are our ingredients. So we have everything prepped out and ready to go, which is awesome. So in our sauce, you guys can see on our food demo, Kat made our sauce. It is lime, honey, vinegar, and we use the fish sauce.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
did put a little hot sauce in here.
Yeah,
A
we like
healthier
a
version.
little spice.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we like a little spice. So your step 1 is gonna be create your sauce, set it to the side. Okay, step 2, you guys, this is the most fun part. I wanna see, where is everyone? Okay.
Yeah, show them the zoodles.
Have you guys used a zoodler before? Anyone? Thumbs up, thumbs down? This little thing's called a zoodler. All right. I am introduced to this because I'm gonna be teaching zoodle class next week for Kids Cooking for Life. And I wanted to test the recipe. So I use it for the first time this week. It's literally the easiest thing in the world. I think it's like $12 on Amazon. And it makes, you guys will see, I'll do a little zoodle demo. So this is a little zoodler. You can also use a grater. You can use a shredder.
A vegetable peeler.
Peeler. You want to be
thin strips.
inclusive. So if you don't have a zoodler, you can do many different things. You can cut it thinly with a knife if you want to work on your knife skills. So there's definitely many different options to making zoodles. I'm going to be using the zoodler. So here,
I just learned how to use it today. By the way. I usually just use like a vegetable peeler.
So
And
this is definitely a bigger zucchini. I found that smaller zucchinis zoodle easier than others, but so you take off the lid and inside you'll see there's like the little, what is this? Blade. Yeah, the little blade. So you cut your zucchini in half, you put it in there and you press down.
it's like a mandolin, basically.
And then out come your zoodles.
So easy.
And kids will love to do this. Like if you're making zoodles, have your kiddo use the zoodler.
Oh yeah, when we cook with kids, and it's always a little worrisome with knives and heat. So having the zoodler is a really nice option because it's something a little bit safer. Anyone adding? No, okay. So giving them easy tasks like helping them measure. So they're now learning a little math in the kitchen with you. So using measurement tools as well as zoodler, which is a little safe. I know, it's awesome.
So you guys, when it gets to be lower, like when you have a little bit left, you take the top, push it down, and then you continue. you continue to just push the zucchini through the zoodler until it's all the way done. It's literally this simple. I was kind of blown away. And look at all these zoodles that we got. This is just from half a zucchini.
We had a very large zucchini, I think.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Boom. Amazing. And then at the end, you get just like you can eat this part. This is just like the extra part of the zucchini.
It cores it or something to make
Mhm.
it.
Cool. Okay, so now we have our zoodles spiralized. Next up is you're gonna want to cook your protein.
Right.
So we're using shrimp today. Kat prepped some shrimp. This is just some
It's deveined shrimp.
deveined shrimp. Yeah.
And I chopped it up, but you guys can keep it whole and you can increase your protein amount, but you could also add tofu here. You can use a protein of choice.
Any protein you want. I just had shrimp, so that's what we're using. Use chicken, use tofu. You can use any protein you want. So what we're gonna do is add in some avocado oil. Do you guys cook with avocado oil? What kind of oils do we cook with? Pop it in the chat. What kind of oils do you guys use? I'm a big fan of avocado oil for high heat cooking. Olive oil, yes, an all-time classic. Let's see. I have olive oil. This is all good. If you're cooking olive oil, if you're getting olive oil cold pressed and local is going to be your best bet. Olive oil is highly anti-inflammatory, really good for heart health. I'm a big fan of olive oil. Olive oil is great for Dr. Bronner's coconut. Yeah, I have coconut oil. We're gonna talk about oils for a little bit. So coconut oil is really good for higher heat. Avocado oil is good for higher heat. Olive oil is good for medium heat. Does anyone cook with ghee butter?
I love using ghee.
Does anyone use ghee?
Totally
Yeah?
use ghee.
Love
Love
ghee.
ghee.
Oh, so ghee is clarified butter. So it doesn't have the actual lactose in there that other types of butter have.
No.
And it's really high. I think it's high in vitamin A and a couple other vitamins as well. Tastes delicious. Yeah, so having the correct cooking oil is always something that's really important just when we're in the kitchen. And there's tons of great options out there.
I'm ready to put this in.
All right, pop it in there.
All right. I think we're going to cook the proteins kind of on a medium high heat. And this is going to go really fast, guys. Super fast. That work? Yeah. I actually put a little extra oil in here because this is kind of a one pan thing. Once we're starting, we're not taking anything out. It's all going in and it never comes out until it's time to eat.
Hey, you guys, this is a one pan dish, which is pretty sweet.
So we kind of just saute. We want to saute the shrimp until they're basically pink on both sides.
So while Kat is sauteing the shrimp, we have some garlic prepped, some ginger prepped, and we don't have jalapeno, but if you're adding jalapeno, this would be the time you would also add the jalapeno. So we're gonna cook the shrimp for another couple of minutes. Let's go fast.
So fast. Awesome.
I love shrimp. You guys like shrimp? Really good source of protein and zinc, which is an essential mineral that supports immune health.
I put a little extra lime juice just to marinate the shrimp before I put it in here. So that's all I did before. Well, it was just after I chopped the shrimp, we put a little extra lime juice on it.
Kids do not like shrimp. That's true. That's true. So if we're making it with the kiddos, chicken's vegetarian.
Right.
You can just make this without any protein at all. That's also an option.
Totally.
Yeah.
All right. I think.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have ginger going in. Ginger is highly anti-inflammatory and really good for digestion. Smells amazing. And then garlic. Who doesn't like the smell of sauteed garlic? I love garlic. Really good for your immune system. With the shifting of the seasons, I've been upping my garlic game.
You just want to cook it until it's fragrant because it's gonna be, like I said, everything staying in one pan.
Yeah.
So we can now, I think we can push it to the side and we're actually gonna add our eggs. So you just like, if you guys ever made a fried rice, you guys can do fried rice like this too. You basically take all your vegetables and protein, push it on one side.
And go the eggs. So this is 2 eggs that we have prepped and ready to go.
I did scramble it beforehand.
It smells so good.
And you're just gonna
smell
scramble it.
this. So we're cooking our eggs now. And you guys, this recipe is quick. It's like 10-minute cooking time.
Yeah.
It's really, really fast. Yeah. We have a lot of zoodles.
I know. That's okay. We need the fiber.
So, does anyone know any nutrition properties of zucchini? I always like to ask before I start to rattle them off. Anyone know what zucchini is good for? What do we think?
It's got lots of fiber and water.
Water, yes.
And
Yeah.
it's probably got potassium,
Yeah.
probably got a little bit of magnesium, a
Very
little
good.
bit of B vitamins, and so forth.
Perfect.
I think we're ready
Yeah.
for the zoodles.
We're ready for the
This is
zoodles?
how fast it is.
Okay, guys. Oh, we're adding in the zoodles. Should we use all of these?
Let's try.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
Woohoo!
We still have a whole nother thing of it.
let's try.
These are 1 zucchini.
We had a large zucchini. It was large.
They're in the zoodles. You want to add? We also have some green onions.
We're gonna add the carrot.
Oh, and the carrots. We have some shredded carrots. Carrots really good for your immune system. Eye health.
So we can leave the zoodles al dente so it has like a noodle texture. So we want to cook it for like 2 or 3 minutes. And the carrots, since they're grated, I like raw carrots actually.
I do too.
More balancing.
Yeah, I do too. I'm a big fan of raw carrots.
So you just want to mix everything all together. It's pretty awesome.
Look how beautiful that is.
Like 2 or 3
It's pretty.
minutes.
Yeah, as kids cooking teachers, one of the major pillars we teach about is eating the rainbow. So
We say if you have only 2 colors, white or brown, there's going to be a lot of digestive issues going on. Hard bathroom number 2. I talk about that in class so much. We talk about so much food.
they love talking about that stuff.
You know, they love their poop emojis. So
Yeah.
once I put the poop emoji on the board and they say, Chef Kat, what are we talking about today? I'm pooping. And eat your vegetables.
I always like to say it's important to keep a colorful plate.
Totally.
It's important to keep a colorful plate.
Lauren, you want to add the sauce?
Is it time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stir it up. We do sauce. And I think we could do a little higher heat. And then we're gonna do half of our little nut mixture or seed mixture. That's awesome. And
So we teach about eating the rainbow. We teach about being sugar smart. So healthier versions of sugar. So whole fruit is going to be a really good option as opposed to artificial forms of sugar. Because kids love sugar.
they do.
Everyone loves sugar. That's just normal being human. So just healthier swaps for being sugar smart. Talk about the importance of protein. So protein helps you grow big and strong. So clean sources of protein. And then we also talk about whole grains. So there's definitely all these different nutrition pillars, but we find when we do the hands-on cooking classes and get them in the kitchen, it really gives them the confidence and the curiosity of like, oh, where is my meal from?
Right. And then
Who cooks this meal? What are the ingredients? Where did those come from? Like, what ingredients do I like? It gets their gears turning, which I think is really, really important.
And I find that, they're more willing to try vegetables that they think they don't like because they start smelling, they smell it. Now it awakens the senses. They palate, they try little things like, Cat, I don't eat carrots and I don't eat this. I'm like, but can you smell that? It smells amazing.
Yeah, you guys should smell this right now. It smells so good. Is this ready?
Yeah, that's pretty much good. Oh, see how like the zoodles, they went down.
The zoodles will cook down for sure.
They shrink.
They do.
Shrink.
Which means you can totally add your whole 2 zucchinis, which is listed in the recipe. So that looks awesome.
This looks amazing. Also, the key to zoodles is serving them warm.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have them, because I made a dish last week and it was delicious, but then I had some left over and I had it colder. It wasn't as good.
Should I get some scissors, Mom?
This is very zoodly. Okay. Okay. It's one giant zoodle. And that's it.
That's it.
That's really it. That's all she wrote. It's literally this easy.
You guys can garnish with cilantro if you have it. Jen, right?
Let me pull this up. I'm always worried my phone's gonna catch on fire.
With the extra green onion, we had extra cilantro in the refrigerator. We decided to use that and some more
Look at that.
your peanut and seed mixture. And then you have a little extra lime. It's awesome. It looks good.
And look at all these beautiful different colors too. Does anyone have any questions about our zoodle recipe? Questions, comments?
So easy.
So easy.
Weird how easy that was.
So what do you think
I
it costs
have-
to make a zoodle dish dinner for four, something like that? Doesn't seem too expensive.
No.
And especially if you're cooking, if you want to even do plant-based and say you do tofu or just eliminate the protein altogether and use more vegetables or even mushrooms. I thought if some of your
yeah.
kids are open to that,
Yeah.
some kids aren't, some are, just depends. It's a really, really affordable way to get something that's kind of like takeout, but you can make it at home.
Absolutely.
You tell the kids it's takeout, they'll eat
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Put it in little containers and go, hey, here's dinner. And they go, oh, that's really great.
Absolutely.
There's something fascinating about containers.
Lauren, you have to try it.
We both have to try it.
Oh, okay.
We both have to try it.
I have a question.
Yes.
I read somewhere where sometimes you add the garlic in the beginning and you saute it with things. Sometimes you add it at the end as sort of a finish. So what do you think about that? What's been your experience with that?
I think it depends on where your kids are or even your own palate. So if you, especially adding it too soon will burn it. I noticed that people like to use it as a finisher, so they have it a little bit more raw. So it's really a preference. But if you're really trying to extract flavor, I think it's better to put it how we did in the middle, which, is it quite in the beginning or at the end? Because sometimes it could be very spicy when it's raw.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if it would be too strong.
It would be a little aggressive, I think, definitely. Wow.
All right. We're going to try this.
We're going to try it.
Ooh.
About ways to involve your junior chefs in the kitchen.
Okay, we actually never tried this recipe yet, so
Live.
but we will be brutally honest.
It's really good. The zoodles are really crunchy.
Oh, it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely use some more texture on mine, so
Oh yeah,
Speed
throw
it up.
on there.
speed it up.
I would
Well,
like
Sorry, can I share an impression or comment or something?
Yeah,
please.
Go ahead, Danielle Chef.
Hey, thanks. I just noticed, I went into the gallery view and just noticed that you have another camera on your stove. Thank you. Okay, so I can see. Yeah, I didn't notice that before. Yeah, this is really great timing for me. I'm in the midst of putting something together myself, and this is extremely inspirational to see. I did some good classes over the spring, and those were really amazing but challenging. And as I'm putting together my next one, then it's just really great to see you having fun doing what you're doing and just
Yeah.
because it's just like giving me some courage to do what I want to do. So thank you.
You teach cooking classes now for kids?
I did one at the farm here. It's called Feral Farm, and it's up in the North Cascades of Washington.
Awesome. How old are the kids?
Contiguous United States. There were quite a few running around. So
How old are they?
So there were, I have a toddler, he's 4,
Uh-huh.
so it was 3, there was a couple other 3-year-olds and 2-year-olds.
Oh, you're
Um,
so sweet. You got to do
and
the
it
mac and
was just
cheese ones.
Oh, yeah.
it was for the practicum, and they let me condense them into 3 long classes. And
Wow.
in the presentation that I was doing, like interactive food activity, so I did a short demo for them, and just like most of it was like facilitating them making a salad, or making, stop, that's not nice, making a pizza. So
Fun.
yeah, it was pretty rambunctious, and there's like an outdoor kitchen space like in the woods, and there was like sand pit, so everybody accommodated.
I love that. That's
so
so
cool.
fun.
One of the students was a grandmother, and she actually made like a little photo video of it, and, like, and you can start. I'm super serious, but I'm hoping. I'm doing it next week for the local tribe here that's really connected to all tribes. I have been working with a local organic farm here. It's this pretty small farm, and it's like right in the river valley, like very lush and pristine. And you can just like feel it in the produce, it's so alive. And I told them about the intention to do these classes, do a class on the week of Columbus Day, and Indigenous Peoples Day, and they just like offered to do like a produce giveaway. So they're gonna give away produce, organic, to the tribe members, and just like they're just hopping on this opportunity. So I'm motivated to get it approved, because there's like a whole process, and getting it through the council and everything, and getting through all the white people.
Right.
So blunt, but getting through all the like non-tribal members,
Sure.
has been a hurdle. But I think it's gonna be worth it. So I'll maybe send along some photos.
We're rooting for you. Yeah, keep us posted.
That sounds
That
amazing.
sounds really cool. It sounds like you're doing really important work. That's great. Oh, hey,
Oh,
buddy.
hey.
Hi, friend. Do you like zoodles?
Zoodle is actually his first noodle.
Oh, there you go.
That's so cool.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was beautiful. Yeah, my cat and I's goal is to make healthy living accessible and fun again.
Yes,
Like,
accessible and fun.
We always make it look easier than it needs to be.
It's because we're having fun.
It isn't easy.
Yeah, we honestly we kind of like winged this recipe, so it could have gone south. But
Yeah.
luckily, like it turned out really, really good. It's really good. We're gonna have this for lunch afterwards.
I've been having a hard time with him becoming here. So it's like, you're sharing your journey about your son, and now he's in college. So
Yeah. He's
right,
16 and he's cooking. Like, we meal prep together, because I'm not always home every night, since I'm a bi-city living mom running a business in one city and living in another. So it's really helpful, because also culturally for us, as a Filipino woman, most of the women are the ones who are always cooks. So to have a son, to be able to be empowered to know more about his body and to be able to cook, I think it's vitally important as we kind of move our younger generation into the future. They don't cook. They're like, oh, mom doesn't cook. We just order here and that. And I think going back to basics of just like understanding where your food comes from, how things taste. Did you know this is from this plant? They're really basic education that home ec classes back in the day had, that we don't have for the kids anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's talk about some ways to get kids in the kitchen. Christina had a really great question. She said, would love to know how you help kids feel comfortable in the kitchen that may be nervous, using knives, fire on the grill, etc. How do you help them feel at ease? That's a great question. So step one in involving kids in the kitchen is make it official. So get your kiddo an apron or a chef's hat or something fun that they can like throw on and be like, all right, this is my kitchen time. Right. And then if you want to involve them in the recipe process, have them choose a food of the day, but it has to be a whole food. Right. It can't be Skittles.
Right.
Like it has to be a food found in nature. So have them choose a food of the day that they like. All right. And then involve them in the recipe process. So when the kid chooses the food of the day, then you can kind of look for different recipes, talk about different ways to cook that food of the day. And then you can go grocery shopping together. Maybe yes, no, depending on what's best for you. But if the kiddo wants to come to the grocery store and you guys can walk around and have the kiddo pick out the actual ingredients, just involving them in the cooking process from start to finish is going to be really, really, really helpful. And then to Christina's question, education is going to be huge, including kitchen guidelines, knife skills, safety, sanitation, but really setting the stage for respecting the space, respecting the tools. And then we always talk about the claw.
Yes.
I was about the claw.
The first thing we talk about in class is how to hold a food object. I think, do we have, so, you know, when we cut, I think even chefs do, you want to round your fingers. So we always say, you guys, we're going to show you the claw. So we hold our food on like this. So when we cut, it actually misses any fingers. But I think, you know, in our class, since we had fourth graders, we actually used to cut with plastic knives first before we started giving them real knives or serrated knives. So you guys, that's an option to add to Lauren's tips. I think, and also the way we operate in my class, because I teach 90 kids in a day. So I have 30 kids and not every kid can do one job, right? So giving the kids different responsibilities really makes, because cooking is a community project. So even at home, so giving them certain jobs and like, that's my job, I'm the mixer or I'm the measurer. And then you can graduate them and like, oh, you can like, oh, you get to stir today. And I used to have Devin sitting like standing in front of the stove from the side, because of course I'm worried about splatter, but he would do a little mixing. So just like slowly graduating them to do smaller tasks, but get them involved in doing the easier stuff first, which I don't like to do. I don't like grabbing things from, can you grab this, this, and this from the pantry?
Yeah.
So much easier.
One thing I also like to do is challenge them. So this is like a teacher tool.
Right.
So I will be like, oh, I need to dice this apple. This is really hard. I don't know if you could do this. And then the kid would be like, what? I could do that? You know what I mean? Like,
that's good.
Your chef's like a challenge, you know? Like, you'd be like, I don't know if you could do this. But like, yes, I can. And then that's when you could do a knife demo with the claw. You could talk about respecting the oven, turning the oven on and off, just really laying out the ground rules and being super crystal clear about the kitchen is a safe space and you have to respect it. But challenging them is a really good thing. And then I think Kat talked about this earlier, recipe reading is also huge because not only it gets them reading the recipe and seeing all the ingredients, but it adds in the element of math.
Right.
So different measurements are going to be on there for the different ratios. You could talk about the math skills, and you can also go over different measuring tools. So what the difference between measuring spoons and measuring cups and a tablespoon and a teaspoon.
Right.
And really kind of laying it out for them is super, super helpful. I see a hand from Dr. V.
Yeah. You know, I think you need a group of adults watching a group of kids.
Yeah.
Because the attention is the key.
Yes.
You can't let kids just kind of go willy-nilly or else they'll get scattered and it can be bad news. So the fact that the two of you did this together is a good example of the power of a team.
Yes.
It's much, much more exciting and to have that kind of interaction. And then when you're in a group, you need one adult for every handful of kids.
You do.
To go, that's really well done. No, you need to try it a little different way. And you give them praise and feedback as you go. And it also helps them hold attention because that's a big learning skill for a young person or even an adult, is to be able to keep your attention on what you're doing, like a martial art. A culinary art is really building focus and concentration and you know, efficiency. So it's good to invite grandparents or other kids or, you know, elders, different ages, just to be there together. And then we all sit down at the table and enjoy the meal at the end. because that's what people don't do enough of, is sit around together
Mhm.
and bless the food, eat the food, remember the farmer, remember all the relatives and ancestors. That adds another layer that I think it's important for kids to experience.
Absolutely.
Such a good point.
We also like to do a lot of mindful eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
So involving the five senses.
Mhm.
So if you're cooking with basil, you know, have the junior chef smell the basil and taste it
Right.
and feel it. Or with mint, it's really good with herbs and spices. I mean, it's good with every ingredient, but herbs and spices are particularly powerful for involving the five senses and also talking about mindful eating. I think that's huge.
I mean, Dr. B made a good point about having them focus, because since we do work with sometimes younger age kids, you know, all the stimulation they get from all the screens they have. So because it's so tactile, you know, it really gets them to focus, like he said, and they enjoy it. It's therapeutic. And we've had kids in our class specifically who have been diagnosed with different neurodivergent disorders, but they excel really well in cooking because it's so tactile and they can smell, and it's all these different awakening of the senses. So they're fully stimulated, but in a focused way. And I love seeing that.
Absolutely. Yeah, me too. And as also as Dr. B said, the power of community is real. Like when the kiddos all sit down and they eat their food together, they really, really, it just, you could tell that they're confident and proud. And even if they don't like the recipe, you can still tell they had a good time and they feel good because they made this food with their friends in the classroom. And it was like a start to finish project, and then you get to see and taste the actual result of what you put so much hard work into, which I think the kiddos love.
Yeah, they do.
Are any other tips for getting kiddos in the kitchen?
One thing is, oh, sorry, Danusha, you wanted to say something?
Figure out how to raise my hand on the phone. Raising it. Yeah, getting the kids in the kitchen is just never getting them out, right? I mean, so, Dr. B, then he had this like winter wellness workshop weekend or week. I think it was like winter of 2021, and there was a really cool presentation by Mary Rogers talking about how they've like systematically propaganda during the 50s and all that, getting the women out of the kitchen. Just like, no, you don't be a slave to the kitchen. You don't want that. Let's make it easier. And it's like, River's only 4. He just turned 4. And like, I feel like for the past 4 years, people have been urging me to like throw him into a daycare and go get a job or whatever. And it's just like, no, my job is to be there for him every day. And it's really there for the meals. It's like, I remember I was the youngest in my family when my mom went off to work and we had dinner without her. It was extremely sad and heartbreaking. So it's like, it cannot be emphasized enough, like the parent role. And I mean, for me, I feel like it's more maternal than anything. I feel like it's really the mother in the kitchen, the hearth, and that we need to get back to that. And that's like, you know, I feel like it's day by day with my kids. Some days he'll eat things, some days he won't eat things. And it's just like, just because it's not happening today doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow. And I just need to be there for him consistently each day for all those roller coasters.
Yes. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. You're all inspiring me.
Sweet.
Anyone else want to share? Oh, Chris.
With my daughter, she didn't, there were things that I wanted her to eat that she just would not eat. And so I would say to her, okay, well, that's good. You'll like it later, right? And I started early on giving her measuring cups and teaspoons and that kind of thing with legumes and stuff. And she would measure and pour. And there's a certain age where kids love to do that like 2 years old.
Yes.
So she naturally got to see how there were different sizes and shapes. And then later we graduated to pancakes where we would, she would help make the pancakes, and then we would she'd stand on a chair and we'd spell out names. We'd spell out her name or other names.
Wow.
So she learned how to spell with that, but also cook on a hot fire, because that's always really tricky with kids. They can easily burn themselves by touching things. And then I just wanted to say briefly that the woman who started our natural chef program at Bauman College, she sat on the counter of her grandmother's and and her grandmother never measured anything, but her grandmother was Italian, would make all these dishes and everything like that. And that instilled in her a really deep understanding of cooking.
Right.
And that kind of led her to love cooking. And then also she had this idea of starting with Dr. B, starting the natural chef program. So it really can inform people. Oh, and my daughter, who wouldn't eat anything,
Our
certain
daughter.
things. Our daughter,
Thank you. I think I had a
when
little
she
bit
got to
do with
be,
it. Just a
when
little,
she got
but, you know.
when she got to be a teenager, all of a sudden, all those things that I'd been trying to get her to eat and all of that, she started eating all those things because she wanted to be healthy and have a good skin. And she got really cognizant of that, how important it was. So anyway, I just thought I would say those things. Thanks.
Love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a big believer in not pushing healthy food on kids, but on anyone if they don't really if they're not enjoying the food.
Right.
Like there's going to be other options of there's tons of nutrient dense food out there. And if there's a certain ingredient that either a junior chef or an adult doesn't like, you can there's swaps.
Total.
There's swaps for
So
everything.
many.
You will get your vitamins and minerals and fiber from a different fruit or vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of also a really good point. So thank you for sharing, Chris.
Dr. B.
Dr. B.
Cooking brings people together,
Mm-hmm.
and cooking and health practice, wellness practice, it's a team sport.
Yes.
So clearly moms have been stuck with it and they go, I never want to cook again. So that's not right, obviously. And this whole kind of 100-year manipulation of culture is really, very, it's not human. It's not right. So we're in a Renaissance phase, and understanding that what we're doing is old school. And even though there's more and more convenience food, and even though there's more and more packaged food, and even though there's more DoorDash and grab and go, there's more and more and more of you don't have to lift a finger to do anything. We're exactly the opposite. The more you grow gardening, the more you pick food, the more you work together, the more you sift, smell, and taste and touch and enjoy and laugh and share without external culture, the healthier you will be.
Mm-hmm.
So kids are caught in the middle, because if the parents are distracted, they're gone. They go, here's money, go buy food, or watch TV, right, or take something out of the freezer and I'll catch you later. It's not the kid's fault. The kid is sort of stuck in that predicament. But as we educate families and groups around the value of home cooking and of local food and of clean, healthy food, because the commercial food system has been compromised, it's been poisoned. And all this illness make the connection between unhealthy food habits, and chronic health problems, and even genetic health problems. We have to address this strongly. It's a social justice. Eating well is social justice. Eating well at any level, at any time, at any place, for any community, for any person, is a justice issue. It's not an economic issue. So I think people go, well, some people are lucky they have time and money so they can eat well, and other people are just tough luck on them. They don't have it, but it's not correct, because people can eat zoodles for a buck a head or less for a meal, and eating local plants or being in touch with farmers who will give away extra food. They just want people to enjoy their food. We know that. When the food comes in, there's more food than we can use, and 40% or more is thrown away.
Right.
So there's a lot of new system creating that we're doing. We're building a system in the classroom with the kids getting in touch and being participatory and activists, and the kids bringing something home for their families to share. It's very empowering for them when they go, here, mom, here, dad, here, brother and sister, I made you something that's really yummy to share with the recipe. That empowers that kid at any age. I mean, maybe not a 3 or 4-year-old, but they'll get up to 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. Those kids are really smart and they want to be of service as well. And that it's a cultural phenomenon, and this can be part of it. This should be part of education. It's not just home ec, it's just life education to survive in today's world, because the healthy people will endure the hardships and the unhealthy people will collapse and become drug dependent and be weak, which is, you know, a tragedy. So you guys and others who are working with children and working with you know, kids and families, it's a very high calling. It's very powerful. It's very important. And so let's, you know, let's take a lot of pride in what we're doing, because it's going to make a difference.
Thank you. Yeah, Kat and I love teaching kids cooking classes.
We do.
We love it. So we teach kids cooking classes both virtually and in person. And then we also do group coaching programs. So we do seasonal reset group coaching programs. Our next one's coming up in October 23rd to the 27th. And these are 5-day group coaching programs where we really get back to the basics. It's all about seasonal food and lifestyle choices.
Right.
Kat, you've been doing these for how long?
Probably like 3 years.
Couple years, yeah. So you get a grocery shopping list, you get a meal plan, you get recipes. We also incorporate Kat's Good to the Bone bone broth, and then also freshly rooted tribe sea moss. So that we add the products, which are amazing.
We always incorporate different things. So we're kind of looking at what can help and what can show you sustainable solutions that are easy to add to your own routines, just to show you guys a little variety. And we also incorporate different lifestyle techniques, stress management techniques that are quick, easy, but just used consistently, that people forget, like going back to basics, you know, little things that we forget about, like going outside and enjoying the sun. They forget about that. But, you know, we have information for you guys, so please pass along or share with anyone who might be interested. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. There's a question in the chat. How do you get your kids to eat their veggies? Great question. So
We hide them. No,
no, seriously, sneaky veggies,
right?
sneaky veggies. So, do your kiddos do smoothies? You can add in some veggies into smoothies,
Right.
or quesadillas. I have a loaded quesadilla recipe, so you add in some really finely chopped greens into the cheese, and the kids don't really know. Or also our rainbow mac and cheese recipe.
Right. Things they already like.
Finding ways, I don't want to say sneaky, you know, but like ways you can add veggies into foods that they already enjoy is going to be, I mean, we find that to be pretty successful, don't you think?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good.
Pairing with things they already enjoy.
Yeah.
So creates a powerful connection of memory. It's like, oh, that kind of tastes good. I really like that, and it tastes good with this. Awesome.
Yeah. And then also our taste buds change as we get older.
They do.
So I remember my sister, she only ate butter for like 3 years when she was a kid, and like she's fine, she's doing okay. But as she got older, she started adding in more different varieties of foods.
My son doesn't like mushrooms, and I'm like, oh no. But the funny thing is if it's just there and I have like a mushroom stir fry that's only mushrooms, he's not going to eat it. But I use it a lot in our cooking, and he has no idea, none whatsoever. Just not.
Tell him.
I said, there's mushrooms in there. Really? I didn't taste it.
Don't
Excellent.
tell them. They won't know. Tell them. That's when they get all like, oh, I don't like this.
So my wife doesn't like Brussels sprouts. And, you know, it's been like, I've been with her for 43 years. And so the only way I could get her to eat Brussels sprouts was to dip them in dark chocolate.
Wow.
Offer them up to her as a truffle on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's smart.
It was pretty funny, actually.
I can get down with that.
But then she got back at me and she said, you know, I will eat these Brussels sprouts if you will go hiking with me. And I said, well, the more Brussels sprouts you eat, the longer I'll be on the trail. So if you really think about it, a lot of times people have an upset around food. You know, the food made them sick. And they go, I'll never eat that food again. Well, maybe the food was bad. Maybe it wasn't cooked right. Maybe they were in a bad mood. You know, I mean, things happen where people have a bad experience with food. So they get trauma and they go, ooh, I'll never eat that again.
Oh,
But
I have an
you go,
interesting stat for you guys on tasting food, Dr. B. Like
say
exactly.
it again.
I have an interesting what the teacher that I work with in the Oakland Unified School District that I teach on fourth graders. She actually told me, like, you have to try a food with kids at least 20 times before their palate starts changing. So every time we get this like very resistant attitude or statement, we said, remember, this is only the third time you tried the carrots, and Chef Cat's gonna keep putting these carrots in, and you guys are gonna try it. It's 17 more times. By the end of the class, they're loving it in the fried brown rice or something, and it's good. So, 20 times.
Anytime. That's a lot. Well, we have a lot more Brussels sprouts to try then.
There you go.
It's Brussels
there you go.
right now.
It
Now
is.
the time.
I love that.
I know. I love Brussels too. Well, we're almost at 1 o'clock.
Yes, we are.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today on this Friday
Beautiful.
afternoon.
We had so
Everyone
much
has
fun.
the recipe. Please make it.
Yes.
If you didn't want to do pad thai, you could literally do zoodles with like tomato sauce, you can make
Right.
pesto. You can really kind of get creative.
Lauren baked hers before she
When
put it
I
on
did
one time.
pesto, I baked my zoodles at 350 for 15 minutes and then just threw the pesto on top.
Right.
Delicious. Just baked with a little sea salt.
Let-
Super
let-
simple.
Done.
Super easy and delicious. But zoodles are a really, really good,
Yeah.
sneaky, veggie, adult, and kid-friendly recipe. We hope you guys make this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We had
All
such a
right.
good time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.